Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Chingo Gringo beer review. Well guys, we're closing out 2016. Today is December 31st, 2016, the last day of the year this year, and this will be the last, of course this will be the last Chingo Gringo beer review for 2016. So, I have been with you guys for 9 months now. Right, my channel started 9 months ago and it has been growing. I've been adding reviews as much as I can when I have time, and I try to get those out to you guys to show you new beers here in Mexico and the United States and Germany and around the world. And I hope you have enjoyed those videos. If you have, please hit the subscribe button or the like button, or leave me a comment if you have any questions or comments about the beer reviews I do. All right, well, what do I have for you today? Well, since today is New Year's Eve, I have a humdinger for you guys. Now, a humdinger is a really good thing. That's what humdinger means. For those of you, if you don't know what a humdinger is. I have a humdinger of a beer for you today, guys, for this special New Year's Eve edition of the Chingo Gringo beer review. Well, what beer am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about none other than Stone Ruination Double IPA 2.0. All right, so there's a little look at the label there. Really nice, of course, with a stone gargoyle there on the front of the bottle. So let me just tell you a little bit about this beer. Of course, it is called Stone Ruination. Is their Ruination Double IPA 2.0. It is their second iteration of the Ruination IPA. It is a West Coast style double IPA. And when the first edition, when they brewed the first edition of this beer, Ruination, the IPA, it was the first full-time brewed and bottled West Coast double IPA on the planet, in the world, right? So these guys, they are good at what they do, and they are at the cutting edge of brewing ideas. They come up with some really good beers, as you guys know. If you don't, I would recommend for you to check out their beers. They have some really great beers. Where is this brewery located? Stone Brewing Company. Well, its base of operations is in San Marcos. That is in San Diego County, California. And it was founded way back in 1996. By two guys, co-founded by two guys, Steve Wagner and Greg Koch, I think Koch maybe is the correct pronunciation. Interesting story, a background story on these two guys. Before they started Stone Brewing, they met each other in a very unique way. They were both in the music industry. Steve was in a band, and Greg had a recording studio. And Steve's band went to Greg's recording studio, and that's when they first met. They met again, their paths crossed again when they were taking a class on the sensory of beer or something like that. I don't remember the name exactly, but at UC Davis, University of California, Davis. And they met, and they learned that they both had a passion for craft beer, and they started talking, and one thing led to another, and they cut the ribbon in 1996 on their brewery. Well, let me tell you about the beer, specific information about this beer. Of course, I mentioned earlier, this is the second iteration, or the second version of their Ruination IPA. It's called their 2.0, Ruination 2.0. And they use some really interesting, well, they use an interesting brewing technique. Of course, this beer is dry hopped, but they also employ something called hop bursting. Well, you say, what is hop bursting? Well, hop bursting is when they just add a massive amount of hops at the end of the boil to impart just this burst of aroma to the beer. And that's where it gets its name, hop bursting. All right, ABV on this beer is 8.5%, and the IBUs, according to Stone, is 100 plus, which sounds outstanding to me. Hops used in the beer, when the first version came out, way back when, Magnum, Nugget, and Centennial hops were used. This time around they added Simcoe, Citra, and something called Azacca hops. Those three varieties of hops were not available when they first introduced the beer. It hadn't even been thought of, or anything. So that's enough about that. Enough of all these technicalities or specifications and information. Let's get to the meat of this beer review, which is the beer. Let's pour this puppy up and get a nose on it. In a moment, I will show you guys the bottle cap, which is pretty cool. I forgot to show you that. So, take me a second to pour this up in a glass. Okay, all right, there we go. Turn my car back on. Wait for it to load. There we go, now we got power. Okay, so let me finish pouring this into the glass. Poured it in my IPA glass. Okay, I think that's good. Really nice clear golden color on this beer. It's coming through really nice on the camera. I was a little afraid because I'm doing this beer review a little late in the evening. It's almost 6 o'clock here in Cancun, and it's a little overcast, as you can see in the back. It's been raining all day mostly, and this is really the first break I had to get out here and get this beer reviewed. Well, clear golden color. The camera's kind of given it a red hue. It really doesn't have a red hue, as you can see when I back it up. It's just a nice golden color. Really nice, maybe a creamy color head, cream colored head on the beer. Here's my favorite part of IPAs, the smell. Even before I brought it to my nose, I could smell the aroma. Oh man, that's as good as crack to me right there, without all the side effects. Well, I can tell you that I smell tropical fruit and melon just right off the bat. Wow, tropical fruit and melon. I'm getting a little bit of pininess in this beer. What else is in there? Citrus, of course. Citrus. No doubt from the Citra hops and the others. Centennial? Yeah, Centennial. But wow, yeah, so melon, tropical fruit, citrus, piney, and a little bit of dankness in there as well. I've heard other people describe it as a little danky, which is really, really nice. But just a touch, not too over the top. Time to get this down the gullet, guys. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. That's very interesting. Probably the first IPA that I've had where melon is so prominent in the flavor and also in the aroma. A really nice level of bitterness in this beer. It's 100 plus IBUs, but it's not, I mean, it doesn't smack you in the face. It's a really nicely balanced beer. You get that burst of tropical fruit, melon, citrus up front, and in the middle, the bitterness starts to creep in, and towards the end, it dries it finishes very dry and a little bit dank danky. Is that a word, danky? With dankness. Very lovely beer. Very lovely beer. I'm glad I saved this for the last review of 2016. It's been in my fridge for a couple weeks, and I wanted to get this out of the bottle into the glass before it lost its freshness. So, and before I forget, I wanted to tell you guys, it says drink fresh. I wanted to see if they have a bottled on date. Usually they'll put something in here. Maybe not. I'm not seeing it. Oh yeah, here it is. This beer was bottled on April 16th of this year. So what is that? Is that for right? May, have to count on my fingers. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 8 months. Well, I'm really shocked at the freshness of this beer. It still to me tastes very fresh. It must be amazing when it comes fresh out of the bottle. I mentioned earlier that I was going to show you guys the bottle cap, so that's what I'm doing now. And then I'll tell you what I'm going to give this beer as a score. Oh yeah, here we go. There's the bottle cap. It says 20 years of true craft with a gargoyle. Really cool. And inside, I don't know if you guys can see this. No, I probably can't. What does it say here? It says, share your stone memories all year long. Oh, okay. So maybe I'll take a photo of this beer before I lose too much light, and then share my memory of it. All right, well, guys, I'm ready to give this beer Stone Ruination 2.0 a rating. Right, let's say 1 to 10. I'm gonna give this beer I really like this beer. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. It's a 10 for me. It's a 10. It's an outstanding double IPA. It has everything. If you're an IPA lover, everything you would be looking for. Very nice head retention, wonderful glass lacing, outstanding aromas of melon and tropical fruit and citrus, as well as flavors of the same inside of those same things. Just all around lovely, beautiful color on the beer. I can't fault the beer. Perfect 10. All right, well, that's it for this edition, this New Year's edition of the Chingo Gringo Beer Review. And until next time, remember to drink responsibly, guys, especially tonight. Don't drink and drive. As I've said all year, and I say again this time, remember, guys, keep pouring them up, keep drinking them down. Cheers.